All right, well, welcome to tonight's call. My name is Traci Warren, and I have the pleasure of speaking to you tonight about the 3 secrets of email list building through a freemium or free opt-in. And again, my name is Traci. I'm a 2014 elite coach and have been coaching since October of 2011. And I am going to be doing the training for, this is week number 9 of our 10-week Diamond Dash. And as such, I had posted a video on our Diamond Dash page, making sure that you know that if you are not at Diamond yet, stay focused on that and allow this to go in one ear and a little bit out the other while you are laser beam focused on getting to your goal over the next 2 weeks, and then pick this back up and come back to it, because while it is super important, I don't want it to deter you from your main goal. Okay, so there are 3 C's. We're going to go through these, and I'd want to let you know who the training is for, besides you obviously being in Diamond Dash, and also what you can expect from this training and how you will possibly feel on the tail end of it. So this training is for, of course, those of you who are in Diamond Dash, but within that, this is for people who are either very beginners in, maybe they don't even know what a freemium is, maybe they don't know what an opt-in is, but they know they probably need it since we're talking about it. And then those of you who maybe have started, but you've gotten so confused because there's so many different pieces to it that it's just kind of mind-boggling, and you just put on the brakes and then don't go anywhere. So I would like to, over the course of the week, that's what we're going to be talking about. It's too big of a topic to give you step A through step Z all in an hours long, webinar. But we are going to go over a lot of questions tonight. Now, here's the warning. You may end up feeling at the end of the training tonight like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to do this? Because there are so many things that I haven't thought about. But you know what? That's why. And I will post the file. I've got the cheat sheet here for you that has all the questions listed. So just hear me out as you go through the webinar. Don't worry about writing the questions down. You can print those out later. But the thing is, there are a good number of things that you want to think about, but not to the point that it paralyzes you, because getting anything of value out there is going to be way better than not getting something out there and working for the next 6 months trying to make it perfect, because that's not building your list. Getting something out there, even if you find that it's not perfect and you need to go back and tweak it, so what? It's totally fine. For example, I found after I put my freemium out there that I had options for snacks for my AM, but not for the PM. Heaven forbid, I wanted to change it, but it's fine. People can ask me about a snack for the afternoon, it's going to be okay. So, and I've still been able to add loads of value to loads of people as a result of that. So don't let little hiccups and mistakes keep you from getting something out there to help grow your email list. Because, let me see if I put it on here. I don't think I have it specifically on this document, but Shalene Johnson has a podcast, and it is her, if you go back to shalenejohnson.com, look under podcasts, and then it's the one that is titled something along the lines of the number 2 biggest mistake that you can make in building your business. And it's under her Build Your Tribe podcast, not the Shalene Show. So if you look at that, listen to that rather, that she will talk to you about just getting something out there, because you've got your email list. And if you think that all of your contacts, you've got 1,000 on Facebook, but you don't have their email, they're not your contacts. You may be counting it as adding contacts each day, but until you really have their email address in some way that you can communicate with them outside of social media, how valuable is that to you if Facebook goes down or if you lose your account? You know, it's not just if Facebook goes down, but what if something happens to our account and we have to start over with building our friends list? That happens, right? So we've got to be building our email list. It's uber, super duper important to do that. And one thing that you may want to start doing is to get into the habit as you are talking with the people that you're already in conversation with, even before you have a freemium up and out there. Just say, hey, you know what? I'm starting to try and collect people's email addresses in case, God forbid, Facebook goes down, we'd still be able to connect and hang out together. So just start asking people for their email addresses, keep it in a little file, and if you want to let them know that you're not going to be spamming them all over the place, then go ahead and let them know that. But I would highly recommend doing that. Okay, so we know who this training is for. We know that it's going to be a lot of questions and not a lot of answers tonight. Okay, that is what tonight is about. Tonight is about opening up this can of worms and helping us know what is it that we need to figure out to make this happen. Okay, we've got to know what we need to know, right? So that's what tonight is about. And then the rest of the week, we can be hashing out, answering questions, and digging deeper into each one of these little sections, okay? So the first C is confidence. And as I've taught a couple of different groups on my team the process of getting our freemium up and out there, and it was not pretty. Because I was just barely learning how to do it myself, you know, so I'm like, okay, do this. And then, okay, well, it seems like we need to do this. So at least now I've been through the process a couple of times and can more with confidence tell you what to do next. But what I have come across so far is that there are a good portion of coaches who don't think they have any value to add to others. They have no confidence that they can put together a one-page PDF that is going to help somebody else. So step number one, that first C, is that you have to have confidence that you have some value that you can add to another human being, okay? And it doesn't have to be big. I think that there's a big misconception, and I'm guilty of it too. I can't remember how many pages my freemium is. It might be like 17 pages long. And that is totally, if I had to do it over again, I would not do it that way. I would have a 1-2 page max PDF and something quick and simple where people can have a quick win. Something that they can have that's tangible, that's going to make a difference in their lives right away. So that is going to be, it may look along the lines of a cheat sheet or a list of tips or a checklist or any kind of catchy phrase that you want to call it that is going to add value to them tangibly very quickly. Okay, so here are 5 questions that you can ask yourself to determine what this value might be. And again, if you don't have to write these down, I will provide it for you later. But the first one is, and I'm going to save the most important for last. The first one is, what problems have you overcome yourself? Because the more that we know about our own journey, the more that we can help others. The next one is, what have you found helpful on your journey? And this one, I think we kind of need to go back to Throwback Thursday more often than just on Thursday and think back to when we were a new challenger. Think back to before we made that first step of joining a challenge group. What had we found that was helpful? What did maybe your coach provide for you that you thought was helpful? What do people ask you about or ask for your help with? Now, this may or may not be fitness or nutrition related. And that's another, I think, a really good point that is important to make, that your freemium, while it should be tied to your brand and it should be tied to your end result, and you'll have to come up with what your end result is. Is your end goal to have challengers? Is your end goal to have business builders. What is your end goal? So we have to think, make sure that your freemium here, because that's the top of the funnel. Your freemium's at the top of the funnel. What is at the bottom of the funnel? What's your ultimate goal? So we have to make sure that it is somehow related. But if you want to say, come up with a freemium at the top that is how to squeeze more hours in the day, it's not fitness or nutrition related, but it certainly could impact your bottom of the funnel, right? So some people are really good at organizing. Some people are good at, anything. Don't limit yourself on that. And you may find that you want to have more than one at some point, and that's okay too, because each freemium might address a certain target market, and we'll talk about that. The next question is, what just gets your engines going and makes you want to talk 100 miles an hour? There are certain things for all of us that just get under our skin, and if somebody strikes that chord and you just go off and you want to talk about it and hop on your soapbox, what is it that you can be on a soapbox so easily about? And how can you turn that into some added value for others? And last but not least, this is the most important one, I think, in order for you to have that confidence. What is my story? And you know what? I will provide an outline for you to go through and try and take yourself through putting your story together. I did that for my own downline during Diamond Dash, but the other participants on other teams may not have done that kind of thing before. The last little tidbit there would be, make sure you earn the call with Bo Eason. Please, whatever you do, earn the call with Bo Eason. His weekend completely changed. I don't think it's too much to say it completely changed my life. It was a really powerful event. And if you can do whatever it takes to get to his live event, that would be worth your time and investment. So you got to know what your story is. And it's not just your Beachbody transformation story. What is your story? Who are you? And what is your life's message to people? If you're going down on a plane and you have, a couple of seconds to tell your child 3 things, what are those 3 things going to be? Do you know what your life's message is? Because that is going to give you a lot of confidence, and it's also going to shed light on what kind of value that you want to add to other people. And then this is getting slightly off topic, but then every other post that you ever put out on social media, that should be supporting your life's message with intention. Okay, moving on to number 2, the second C in the secrets of email list building is clarity. So we've determined that we are confident that we can add value to others, and now we need to be really clear on who our target market is, what our end goal is, that bottom of the funnel that I referred to, and what the needs of our target market are. Okay, so now we've got questions that are associated with that, and there are 10 or 12 here. Okay, so the first one is my avatar on their mobile phone or at their desktop? And again, I know Elise talked about avatar, so we've already talked about that a little bit. You'll want your lead page or your opt-in page, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. A lead page is the same thing as an opt-in page. You want that to be mobile friendly because so many people are on their mobile devices these days that you need to make sure that it is formatted properly and it comes up looking nice no matter what device that your prospect is on. Next question, what would my audience need to know about their product, about the product that ultimately I want to sell? Okay, so for example, some people that follow me on my like page don't know yet that it is such a time saver to work out at home than to commute to the gym with 4 kids. right? So maybe my freemium, and I'm just making stuff up on the fly here, maybe my freemium is how to save time by skipping the gym, you know? And maybe that's directed to moms of 4 kids or more, you know? So we need to figure out, what does our audience need to know about what we're selling before they're ready to buy? What does our audience struggle with, and how can we help solve that problem? Some of them struggle with meal planning. Some of them struggle with not knowing how to cook. Some of them struggle with carting their kids around to so many activities that they don't make time to sit down and have a family meal, right? So that can just get your mind rolling. What is the lifestyle of our target market, and where are their problems? Where are their disconnects in helping in them getting to where they want to be with their health and their fitness and their business and their finances and all of these things, right? There's so many different ways that you can take it. What would be so valuable that your target market would have a hard time believing that you were actually going to give them that to them for free? It needs to be good. It needs to be juicy. Maybe it's secrets. So even for tonight's message, you know, I tried to come up with something that would be somewhat enticing. 3 secrets to email list building. It's not like it, you know, it wasn't rocket science coming up with 3 words that started with a C, you know, but we need to figure out, put ourselves in their shoes and think about what would have such a really big impact on them. And the thing is, a lot of times we just think that it has to be this huge grand thing, when all people really want is to know, what is PP2? Seriously, that's a silly example, but I just posted about a jar of PP2 on my Facebook this week and had tons of likes, tons of questions. Oh, what is that? I've seen it. Where did you get it? People don't know these things. We get in as a coach, and especially the longer that you're around, you assume that everybody knows what you know, and they don't. So if you can find these simple little tips that you are doing all day, every day, and share those things, because those are the things that make you successful, because it's our habits, it's our daily activity that is making us over time be successful, right? And so if we can share those little things, that's going to make a big difference in the lives of others. Next question. What does my audience need to know or believe before they're ready to buy? Now, for me, to give you an example here, one thing that you may see on my social media over and over again are a couple of different lines. You matter, you are worth taking care of, and you can't give from empty. I say that one a lot. You can't give from empty. My target market needs to know that they are a priority, and that if they want to give to others and serve others, they have to take care of themselves first. So what does your audience need to believe before they're ready to buy? Next question. And this one is a more tangible, logistical question. What domain URL would be easy for my audience to remember? And let me back up a second. What is a domain URL? So my freemium is grabthesweetlife.com. www.grabthesweetlife.com. Now, the reason why I chose that is because my logo, whatever, says kick the sugar, grab the sweet life. So mine, I talk about sugar and then the sweet life. Sugar, sweet life. There's a connection there for me. That's my brand. So I wanted something, and yet my blog name is traciwarren.com. So I want to make sure that from the outset, make sure that it's clear that your domain name for your landing page and your freemium is not going to be the same as your domain name for your blog. If you have a blog, fine. If you don't have a blog, fine. We're not talking about that part tonight. But the point is that it's something different. It's not your website. This is just a single page, just like if you were looking at a book, it would be one page, a single flat little link, a URL. Because I know that has been confusing for some people before. So this is not a website, it's not a blog, it's one page. Like, this is all you see. You can't do much with it, right? That is what we're talking about. This is your opt-in, this is your lead page. And we need it, it has to have a pretty name, right? Because instead of saying leadpages.net/Traci1// just give them something nice and quick and easy that they can remember. And so, for example, Shalene's 30-day push, 30daypush.com, grabthesweetlife.com. So you'll start to notice different people who have their freemiums out there. I can't remember if Shalene's for the Courageous Confidence. It might be courageousconfidenceclub.com. So you are getting the picture now. It needs to be directly tied to what they're getting, and it needs to be easy for people to remember. And also, it needs to be at a reasonable cost. So, for example, I was searching for one for my husband a couple of weeks ago, and it was going to be $2,000 for the domain URL name. That's not going to happen. It should not cost you more than $12 or $15 for the whole year for your domain name. Okay, so make sure it's reasonable. Don't be paying. I'm not suggesting you pay $2,000 for your domain name. Okay, moving along. So we're still in clarity. We're still in that second C. What do people ask me about or for help with? And this one is written similar in that first section, but this one is more geared toward what are people coming to you about? What do they want to know? What are they asking you for? The next one is, what is my ideal customer afraid of? Sorry, the dog's chewing up the rug. No. What is my ideal customer afraid of? What are they afraid of being in family photos? Are they afraid of spending time on themselves? What are they afraid of? And then you can speak to that. What could your avatar talk about all day long? Now, in the first C, we asked, the question was, what could we talk about all day long? Now we need to know, what is our avatar? What do they get riled up about? What do they get excited about? What are they looking at on Pinterest? My ideal customer says they want something, but what is the underlying need? So usually your ideal customer, they come to you and they say, I need to lose 10 pounds. But what is it that they really need? What is it that what has kept them from their goals so far? That may be a really good question to ask. Say you ask the next 10 people you talk to, what has kept you from reaching your goals so far? And maybe there lies the answer to your freemium. Help them figure out what that step is and give that away to people for free. What are the top things preventing your ideal customer from trying your product? So this could be easily your objections, some of the objections that you receive. I don't have the time to do it. I'm not on Facebook that often. I don't have the money right now. I'm just brainstorming right now, thinking, maybe you could even do a freemium on how to turn $5 of McDonald's money into the healthiest meal of the day. And you're basically teaching somebody how to replace fast food with health. Give them 10 tips for replacing fast food with health. I don't know. I'm just thinking here. Okay. So tying together the things that are preventing them from trying the Beachbody challenge or from trying coaching into your freemium. Last one, what have your ideal customers tried that has not worked for them. Maybe they tried another direct sales company and that didn't work for them. So maybe your freemium's tied to that. Maybe they tried a different shake that we won't even name and it didn't work for them. And so they've gotten turned off. The last C, number 3, commitment. You must, and I put it in all caps, you must be committed to seeing this through, because there will be speed bumps, there will be roadblocks, there will be frustrations and irritations along the way. That's just the nature of doing things with technology, and it's the nature of doing something that is outside of your 3 vital behaviors. We all already know that we could spend 24/7 working this business, right? We know that. It's possible. And now here's something extra. So we have to be committed to seeing it through. I will tell you, I've done it 2 ways. My first freemium, I did a little here and a little there and a little here and a little there. And I would say I spent about 6 weeks from beginning to end putting it out there. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I helped my 8-year-old put together her freemium. Yes, she's 8, and she's got a Facebook page called Picky Kids Guide to Gluten and Dairy Free. And she put together a freemium, and we did it in 2 afternoons. We wrote out the Google Doc, we made the lead page, and got her email list set up. It's all tied together. I personally, having done both, I would much prefer setting aside a weekend and just cranking it out, just getting it done. It is so much nicer to be able to say that it is done and complete, and instead of pulling your hair out like over a period of 6 weeks, you can just pull out your hair in 2 days. It's much better that way. Your hair will thank you. So you have to be committed and just know that it's something new. And anytime you do something new, it may be frustrating, and that's okay, because each time it's going to get easier. I did write down several areas of frustration, because I figure if you know where those might lie, then that will help you gain more confidence that, okay, this is an area where she said I might get frustrated, and I am, but I'm going to get through it, because that's what we do, right? So the first one is setting up new accounts. Some of us are just kind of hesitant going to a new website and setting up a new account with something else, and so maybe that will cause you some butterflies. The second is the design and formatting piece. To me, that just makes me crazy. I mean, like, I turn into a mad woman, even half the time trying to use PicMonkey. That's not my thing. I don't enjoy it. So for some of you, that may be you. We'll also be talking about setting up and formatting the emails and autoresponders. An autoresponder is an email that goes out automatically. So when somebody opts into your page to get your freemium, then there will be a series of emails that they receive. Those are called autoresponders. So maybe that causes you frustration. And the last one is the connecting of one system to another. So we're going to be dealing with a domain host that might be something like GoDaddy that keeps our domain name, right? We're going to be dealing with an email service provider, and we're going to be dealing with our lead page host, which might be Wix.com, it might be leadpages.net. So these 3 things need to talk to each other, and getting them connected to talk to each other can be a little challenging, okay? So those are the things that I want to put out there. Those might be your speed bumps. Questions to ask yourself. Number 1 is, do I have a physical mailing address that I'm willing to share for my freemium? Now, it is basically a law that whenever you're sending out an email to somebody, you have to provide a physical email address. You can't provide a P.O. box. So some of us do not feel comfortable sharing our, like my Naples, Florida residence address for all of social media to know. Personally, I think if somebody wants to find me, they're going to find me, but that's just my 2 cents worth. But that said, I still paid for a physical box, and I went to the UPS store. They will sell you a box that actually has a physical address versus a PO box number. Okay, so there's a cost associated with that. You need to look into that cost and find out what that is, and are you willing to pay that cost, or are you going to opt for having your physical address be your residence? Okay. Do I have an email address that is for delivering my freemium? And I would recommend, if you are able to have if you have a blog, I would have it tied to your blog. So my email address is traci@traciwarren.com. If you are able to set it up so that it looks a little bit more professional than Yahoo or something, then I would do that. But at the same time, don't pull out your hair. If you provide a Yahoo or a Gmail address, just get it out there. It's more important to get it out there than to make yourself crazy, like, oh, I'm going to go and set up a website and pay $3,000 to have that done so I can have an email address. That's not the point here. Next question, which email marketing provider will you be using? And on the sheet that I'm going to upload to our page, I have referenced an episode from Amy Porterfield, and she has a cheat sheet there that you can download that has pros and cons of different email service providers. So that work has been done for you. Personally, I use MailChimp, and I will be recording later this week a screen share showing you exactly how to set that up and how to tie all of this together. I'm going to be basically, with my husband's help, creating a freemium for him and for his business. And then I'm going to be screen sharing all of that and recording it. So from beginning to end, assuming that you are using the same providers that I am, then you'll have it step by step in front of you to see. I will be using MailChimp, and I will be using Lead Pages and GoDaddy. So those are the ones that I've chosen. I have used other things in the past, so if you have questions about other ones, feel free to ask me. Can't guarantee that I will know the answer, but I will certainly try. Okay, so then on the document, there are 5 other questions that you can ask yourself or your email provider to figure out if that's the right one for you. I'm not going to go into that right now. Next one, which landing page site will I use? And so I've referenced Wix.com. It's Wix. That is what I used first. And then I ended up switching to leadpages.net after I heard Amy Porterfield going on and on and on about it. I switched. So I have set them up on both, so I can give you kind of pros and cons to both. The main pro to Wix is that it's a heck of a lot cheaper. The pro to Lead Pages is that there are great templates that are already set up and proven to be effective. And from what I have experienced, the customer service is better. Am I going to create the PDF myself, or am I going to hire it out on Elance? I've done it both ways. My own, I wrote the draft and then hired it out on Elance to have somebody make it look pretty. My daughters, we did that all ourselves. The next one is, will I do the cover art myself, or will I hire that out? So you may do the text portion and edit your own text and make that look nice, but then maybe you want some cover art to make it really pop and stand out, and maybe you hire that out. Next question, do I know how to create a shareable Google Doc? So you're going to need a PDF format to share with somebody else. And I will say, again, because we're talking about a beginner, this training is for beginners, and it's way more important that you get something out there. And the very easiest thing that you can do is to create a PDF file format. At some point, you may choose to do a webinar or a video series or, a series of trainings or whatever. But that obviously is more complicated, and we're going to start simple here. So we're just talking PDFs. So you'll need to know how to create a shareable Google PDF that you can put the link into your email so that they can download it. That's the point here. Next one, have I educated myself on how to effectively write the copy or the wording for my opt-in page? So there are several things. There's going to be your headline, a subtitle, the image, what are the benefits to the audience, that kind of thing. And then we will be talking more about that later this week as well. Do I know all the costs involved? So you're going to have a cost for your email service provider, the domain name, and the lead page. Those three things will have a cost associated. And then if you've hired anything out to Elance, there would be that cost as well. And you need to figure out, what's the cost going to be? Is it worth me paying this and making this investment to be able to reach a lot more people? And that's something that only you can decide. Personally, my business it's at least doubled since the beginning of the year. And I started my freemium basically the first week of January. And I had about 400 likes on my like page. And now I'm almost at 6,000. So this path for me has made a huge difference. And I typically have about anywhere between 12 and 15 on a regular day opting in for my freemium, which means I'm getting that many new email addresses every day that I can reach out to and build a relationship with and market to. So that has been very, very worth my time and cost of putting this out there. Okay, so to wrap it up, I'm going to just sort of give you the roadmap, if you will, of what happens first and what happens second and on and on. And this was from the Amy Porterfield Profit Lab. So, and I tried to find, I would guarantee that she's got some freemium out there that you could opt into to get that little PDF, but I couldn't find it. So I apologize for that. But the first one, you've got your starting point. You've decided to commit to seeing this through. You don't start and then not finish. You're just going to beat yourself up. So you got to know what your core message is. That's number one. And then you do your lead magnet, which is your freemium, like put that PDF itself together. That's step number two. And then next is going to be setting up your opt-in page, also called your lead page. The next step is to figure out your targeting plan. We need to figure out who we're getting this to. We already know who our target market is, but now we want to figure out what's our plan of attack to get this to them. The next one would be to set up a Facebook ad to continuously be directing traffic to your freemium. Number 6 is set up your email sequence. Number 7 is your sales page. Now for us as Beachbody coaches, that very well may be our Team Beachbody page where we're making the ultimate sale. At some point, maybe you have something else that you're selling, but currently that's our sales page. And then last but not least, we celebrate. I will also say that she has Facebook ad coming before email sequence. And while you can do it that way, the conservative part of me would much rather have my email sequence written and put into MailChimp before I start advertising and promoting it. So you may choose to flip-flop those around and put your emails together before you start having people opting in. Okay, well that wraps up what I've got for you tonight. Like I said, I'm going to put this file on our Diamond Dash page and make it available to every person who is watching the video. And thank you for those of you who have hopped on. Again, don't let this stuff overwhelm you. You don't have to do it tonight. You don't have to do it this week. You don't have to do it this month, but do it and make it a priority and set aside that time to get it done, because it can change your business. So thank you guys. Have a good evening.